Hello, welcome pen friends. Welcome to episode 2 of Chris's favorite pen, ink, and paper combos. Let's dive right in. We've got the ink right here. This is J. Arbonne Amethyst de Laurel. It is a shimmer ink with silver shimmer, and it's purple, and it's just gorgeous. And the paper for today, never mind the sticker, is the Leuchtturm 1917 dot grid notebook. This is one of my older bullet journals, and it has some paper left, so we'll be using that when we get ready to do the writing sample. And then the pen is the Lamy Vista with a Lamy fine nib, a black fine nib. This is actually the one I've used for a couple of years doing ink reviews and ink profiles. So that is the combination. Now, what we'll do is try to stay with the way I did the first one, for now anyway, and see whether it works. The first thing I want to show you is the result of the bath test. So this is the Leuchtturm paper, of course, and I wrote on it, and I just kind of I didn't let it thoroughly dry, which is, I think, part of the reason we got the result we got. In terms of how it looks like it bled through, because I don't have that problem normally, but we'll see what happens. But anyway, I just let it just dry and then put it into the bath test for 20 minutes, and you can see that it has a lot of water resistance, but it gets that purple out around the edges, and it changes the look of the ink quite a bit. But that's still important. What I use this for mostly, in addition to writing pen pal letters, I use it for note taking when it's a special notes that I want to keep. Then I write them back into my bullet journal, the highlights of a book or something that I want to be able to refer to that I know I'm keeping my bullet journals, so that's what I do. Okay, so next let's look at the little tile. This is what I do each time I get a new ink, and I think you can see that shimmer. Yeah, it has that silver shimmer, and you could see that hint that it was going to be a little bit water resistant even on this watercolor paper, where I just dab it on with a paintbrush and then come back with a wet paintbrush and dab water on. You can see that it didn't completely lift it, but it did quite a bit of moving around. So, okay, we got some prices and all that on the back, which is not important right at this moment. Oh, this is the bottle. Gosh, I meant to do that a little bit before. It's just a beautiful bottle, and this is from their 1798 collection. It's gorgeous. It's a keepsake bottle, and I'm sure I'll keep it for as long as it doesn't break. So let's see. I think next, without any further ado, let's do a writing sample so that we can start to see for ourselves how it does. The back of this book, I had just a little bit of paper here left when I switched over. I typically have a bullet journal, a Leuchtturm, for about a year because I use it almost strictly as a planner. But every once in a while, maybe once or twice a year, there's a book that I really want to maintain the notes on. And that's what I had done. I'll show you an old one of that in a minute. Let's see. I have a new book so that we can read a little bit about the paper, because I think that's important for anybody who doesn't know. So this has the numbered pages. It has a table of contents and a index, an expandable pocket in the back. It's a really awesome book, and I break my rule of getting inexpensive notebooks with this one. This one runs about $20, but I find they're well worth it. Then it has the 80 gram per square meter paper, acid-free. Whoops, I guess I should be reading here because this is a little bit different. So anyway, but not all inks in all pens and nibs do well on it. So we have to kind of look very specifically when it comes to this one. Okay, let's see. Just make sure it's up and running. Okay, I'm going to try to put it closer so that hopefully you can see as I write. So we are writing with the Lamy Vista with a fine nib, and the ink is, okay, I have a hard time pronouncing this. J. Arbonne Amethyst I think I just spelled it there wrong. Okay, it does have an E. Laurel. Okay, it's just a very nice writer. Oh, I hope we're getting focus at least. It's very smooth on this paper, and that's what I really love about it. Let's do our typical sentence. The quick brown fox, whoops, I'm not writing very straight, jumps over, oh goodness, can't even stay within the lines. I mean, I can, but I'm doing it too fast, I guess. Over the lazy dog, okay. Yeah, you can see that is going on nice and wet. I really enjoy that because even though it's a fine nib, it's a smooth running ink, whoops. You know, I often forget to agitate the pen, which is so important. And you'll see that in my old notes that I forgot them too. But luckily, I still love this dark purple ink, whether or not much of the shimmer comes through. And it does come through when I remember to do what I'm supposed to do. So I'll do a little bit and we'll see. I can see some shimmer and you notice it more once the ink dries. That's something I've learned over the years. Let's see, was there anything else we need to... Well, let's just do a little bit more now that we've agitated it, because when, yeah, dollar signs, yeah, I'm seeing dollar signs right now. Talk about that toward the end. Okay. All right. So it's super smooth, okay? And I just really love how it feels. And this fine nib, if I want to print, which I often do with note taking, I can fit it between these 5mm grid, even though my handwriting is kind of large most of the time. It's funny, when you slow down like that, you put down a little bit more ink, so it'll be interesting what we see on the back. And we will look. Okay, I guess we probably better do what we did last time too, maybe a quick test of the drying. I really don't think it's very fast drying. I always blot it. Whoops, well, I let some seconds go by. Let's try that again. That's 1, that's 2, that's 3, that's 4, that's 6, that's 7, that's 8, that's 9, that's 10, 11, 12, 13, that's 14, that's 16, that's 17. 20. Let's try it at 20. Okay, at 20, it appeared dry. Yeah, and that's pretty good. That's really good. That's because of the fine nib, though, because you saw that was going on pretty wet, and that 20 is still wet there. So, you know, that's not very scientific. It's just me counting, but that's still pretty good for note taking. I feel confident, but I do have this paper. Let's look on the back. And I got to remember that you're only having a peep window here, so. Okay, so we have ghosting, but we don't have bleed through. And that's what I love about this, because I can use this nice dark ink in my bullet journal for special notes, and it doesn't bleed through. I love it. I tend to like the fine nib in this book, just the way it works with this paper, and the size of the nib so that I can stay within the 5mm grid. It just combines to make a really, really good combination. Let me go and get the old one. Well, it's here. And it's even bookmarked. This is my, let's see, my second bullet journal. Let's see, let me put that a little bit so you can see it. This is my second one, and it is May 2017 to June 2018. So I had stuck in the middle here book notes on a book, How to Be a Stoic by Massimo Pigliucci. And I used this combination in here. I did mostly printing. I found that it did, and this is a lot of writing, so we get to see more, more than just the sentence of the day or whatever. And I noticed there was shading. It was really, really nice. And I did get some shimmer, which is going to be really hard probably to show here, but I can see it with my eye. in person here, I can see the shimmer. It's not overwhelming because a lot of times I put the pen down and I forget to agitate it, you know, to just kind of get it going and move those particles. So, but you can see how it must be comfortable because I just love it. And I did copy these notes from another notebook into here so that I would have them forever. I felt, and I still have the book, but sometimes I don't keep books forever. I go ahead and after I feel like I've got them in my brain or down in notes, I go ahead and either sell them back, give them away, pass them on. But this is a book I did keep. So anyway, it was a lot of writing. It's comfortable for me, and not for everybody would this pen be comfortable because it does have that tripod grip. So I recognize that, and I realize, oh, I've gone over 10 minutes. Well, I may, be, with the way I talk, may not be able to keep it where I want it with this particular one. Anyway, that's a lot of note taking. Super comfortable. It's purple. It's dark, but it stays nice and purple, I think. And I just really love it. So, what's next? Okay, so what I love about this combination, which is hard because this thing is probably going to glare. So, I think I probably already mentioned, I love the color. I love the shimmer when it shows up, which it does as long as I do the right thing, which is, you know, agitate the pen a little bit. This is a super comfortable pen, not a cheap pen in my budget at all because it runs about $30. Let's see, I had a note here. Yeah, I wanted to keep that in mind that I recognize this is not like last week's. Last week's combination was a super duper combination that was pretty low cost, and this week it isn't. But I consider this ink very special, and I bring it out when I want something that I'm going to keep, or letter writing, things like that. So the ink itself, we'll start there. A 50 ml bottle is approximately $30. Now you can find it cheaper, but I got it at Goulet Pens, and I think it was 28 back then. It's now about 30. So that makes it currently about 60 cents a milliliter, unless you can find a bargain or a sale. But they have a sample, a 5 ml sample at Jet Pens for $4.95, and I would recommend something like that. It's a nice amount for you to figure out whether you would want a bottle of it. And I only have 2 bottles of shimmer ink, and they're both J.Arbon inks. The other one is the Kianit du Nopal. It's the bright blue one that I love. Okay, so then moving on to the notebook, we're looking at about $20 for the notebook, which I do not even balk at. I love these notebooks. They're tough. And since I started putting them into notebook covers, I don't get this number anymore. See how I did damage this one by accident, and that kind of bummed me out because I'm still referring back to that year for a lot of things. So, $20 notebook, $30 ink. And then, of course, the pen, the Lamy pen itself right now, the Lamy Vista is running about $30, but you don't get a converter unless you buy that separate, or you may have more than one Lamy, several converters laying around. So we don't always have to purchase another one, but I tend at times to have several Lamys inked up. So I usually get one for each Lamy that I have, and those run, I think, about $6. So, but I love the combination very much, and I wanted to share that with you. So this is probably, I should have said this at the beginning, what I'm doing with this series is just bringing you specific combinations of ink, paper, and pen and nib, you know, that work out or have worked out so well for me, just on the chance that it might give you something to think about or inspire you in some way in writing combinations, because you may already have some of these particular things, or you may want to get a sample. So I have blown it by like over 4 minutes over what I wanted to keep it, but I'll just have to practice saying things faster, and I will see you next week with another favorite combination. Thank you for being here. Let me know in the comments of any combinations you love, because I do pay attention to that, and I make notes sometimes of future things for myself to try. Okay, bye for now.